that way I wouldn't even think of doing something like that. I wouldn't even allow the lure of money or anything to make me give up, you know what I'm saying, what I value most, which you realize that when you're sitting in prison, which is really your family and peace. It's not about money. It's not about anything. It's just like peace. I mean, everybody really wants peace. And that was one of the things that I realized when I was in prison, when I actually ended up started teaching real estate in prison. And I had the privilege of teaching my bunkie, who was so animate about learning how to invest in real estate. So when I started teaching him, he asked, you know, a lot of questions, and, you know, it's like, man, I really want to do this. So I says, okay, I will definitely teach you. So what I end up doing is I end up saying, look, I'll teach you, but here's the terms. Because again, I'm always about terms.
Yeah.
Here's the terms for me teaching you. I said, if I teach you, what I want you to do is I want you to take notes, and then I want you to take those notes, and I want you to put those, I want you to actually provide those notes, take them to your, because he worked at the, at that time, he worked at the auto school, which he was allowed to go outside the prison. And in the auto school, they had computers.
Yeah.
So I says, I want you to take notes, and then I want you to type everything up so that once I teach you, I don't have to do this anymore. If it's somebody else that want to learn, we'll just have the notes and we can maybe print copies, and, you know, and it'll all be set up. And he was like, absolutely. He's like, when do we start? So we started that following Sunday, and every Sunday for 8 months, I taught him for an hour, him and one other gentleman. And they both, you know, both loved it, both eventually getting out of prison and flourishing with the information that they provided. But it started a wildfire because it went.
So you was in the prison that time, right?
Yeah, I was
in
the prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a prison. So I was teaching them like in the prison cells. I was teaching them like out on the yard, you know, on benches, you know, anywhere that I could actually sit and teach. And then eventually one of the inmates was like, hey, man, I want you to go and meet with the principal. And go talk with the principal and see if you can get some space in the high school so that you can just teach in a class setting. He said, because there's so many people wanting it, because it was getting so bad. It was so many people that was just out there trying to learn, that I was like, okay, I need to maybe, because I started having the COs like, what are you guys doing over here? Because there was so many of them just all piled up, just trying to get information. And in prison, they don't really like you to be in groups of more than 5, you know, because they always think it's going to be some type of gang thing. But it was like, you know, groups of 8 or 9, and they're like, what is going on over there? So, so the news was getting on the yard of what was going on and what I was teaching. So of course, by the time I got to the principal told me, she says, look, I don't have room here. She said, but I'm gonna introduce you to the director of Urbana University, which was the college that was coming in and teaching inmates, you know, different topics and helping them get their associate's degrees and so on and so forth. So I met with the director, went over the program. She loved the program, and she ended up helping me setting me up so that I could teach the program in the college area, and also made it a certification program that they will get certification at the end of 16 weeks. So I created a 16-week program. The program was called 4 Phases to Becoming a Successful Real Estate Investor. And the crazy thing about it is that in the college setting, the average amount of students in the class was anywhere between 10 to 15 on a great day. My average students were like 35, and I only was supposed to have 20. And I had to convince her to add 15 chairs to my class so that we can get more inmates in. So now I started teaching it twice a semester. So that was a total of enrollments of about 70 students that I was teaching each semester. And it just blew up, man, into this amazing thing. And right now it's one of the most successful real estate investment programs in the prison system that most people have never even heard of. And it's just turning out tons of students, and it's still being taught there, even though I've been out of prison now almost 7 years.
Yeah,
because I came home in 2015, and but it's still doing extremely well. As a matter of fact, I'll be working with the DRC here in the coming weeks and months to go back because they want me to kind of go back in there and do some different things for people that are coming out of the prison, some different programming and stuff. So that's a blessing in itself. So the moral of it is this: is that, you know, I realized that when I was in prison is that although in the beginning I thought maybe that, I was a failure and that my life, what I'm saying, was just worthless, and that I let all these people down. But eventually I realized this fact is that really in reality, there is no such thing as failure. And that's what really sparked the book, The Boundless Success, and in my section in there about that topic that says there is no such thing as failure, because I realized that as long as you keep pushing forward, it's impossible for you to fail.